My name's Willa. I'm a student at Drew, and I was part of Mary's Climate Academy course, which was an interdisciplinary course that um, merged biology and world history. And me and Lucero were both a part of it, and we got really into it. And now we're both green team leaders. We're really interested in climate. She's part of like a youth program.
I'm Lucero. I am a outreach and partnerships member of the Bay Area Youth Climate Summit, and we're just an organization throughout the Bay Area of a bunch of high school students coming together to cater workshops and rallies and a lot of other events for the people of the Bay.
Can you tell us like a little bit about what you do and who you are?
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Wáahlaal Gidaak. My name translates to the weight of the potlatch or a potlatch giver, which is our ceremonies in my culture. I am vice president for the Arctic and Northern Waters at Ocean Conservancy. I'm based in Zantakahini, otherwise known as Juneau, Alaska, on the homeland of the Tlingit people.
That's really cool. Um, so like what kind of work do you do like within that organization? Are you're focused on like the Arctic waters?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, so my role is essentially all of Alaska ocean waters, and then the waters that are shared between us and Greenland and Russia and Canada. There's a big space up there called the Central Arctic Ocean, and so my job and the role that I do is everything from beach cleanups and organizing to make sure that our beaches are clean of plastics,
Mhm.
to international negotiations for the Central Arctic Ocean. We worked really hard at my organization to ensure that we have a fisheries agreement saying that we want some more studies, we want more science, we want more Indigenous voices before any fisheries takes place in that area. And now we're working to make sure that shipping and deep sea mining follow that same caretaking level of thinking before they move on any kind of industrial extraction of that area.
Cool. Do you have a
Yeah.
question?
We were kind of wondering, how did you what brought your passion into what the work you do?
Yeah, that's a good question. So where I'm from is Prince of Wales Island. My home village is called Hikta Hunglai, and our people date back there for about the last 15,000 years, and that's about 10,000 years older than the Pyramid of Giza. Right? That's how long
Wow.
we've been in one place, and we are an ocean people, which means that our future and the generations that come after me, my responsibility is to ensure that they still have a connection to the ocean. Majority of our protein, majority of our ways of life are still practiced on our land and in our waters.
Mhm.
And it's the only practice that has gone uninterrupted for the last 15,000 years. And so I have an obligation to all the past ancestors that I had the opportunity to follow along behind, and all of those future generations, so that for the next 15,000 years, my people can still have that relationship with the ocean.
That's so cool. Um, I was curious, like, how do you go about trying to get Indigenous voices like represented in this line of work? Because I'm guessing like, well, I know that they're much less represented in everything governmental, environmental than they should be.
Yeah, it's a big deal. The people who came before me actually did a lot of that work. A lot of non-Indigenous people, and were there to ensure that Indigenous voices were in the Central Arctic Ocean agreements, making sure that Indigenous people who always will care for their place. This is going to be part of our responsibility beyond any kind of conservation or beyond governments that come and go. Our responsibility to these places will always be. And so ensuring that those voices were a part of this negotiation was a big deal for a lot of people. And you're absolutely right. Majority of these, especially international spaces, Indigenous people are usually an afterthought in a lot of the decision making that takes place. But the beauty of the people who came before me wanted to ensure that Indigenous people were thought of first and foremost, before anything took place, and that they got a seat at the table that was a part of the decision making and not just an afterthought. So, yeah, good question.
Um, like what changes have you seen in Alaska, like because of climate change, like especially in the oceans in the Arctic?
Well, There's so much that's changing, right? So we have almost 10 communities right now that need to be relocated as a result of climate change. So they're literally falling into the oceans. The Arctic ice that used to protect a lot of our communities that would span way far out from shore in the wintertime to protect that community against winter storms is disappearing. So that community is no longer protected by the Arctic ice that would normally protect it from giant storms coming in from the ocean and eroding the community. And so we have about 10 communities that are now falling into the ocean. So that's been a huge impact. Some of the other things that we're noticing is that a lot of our people, when they go out hunting or fishing, have to go further and further and further out. They're no longer able to access the same hunting and fishing practices of our people close to shore like they used to be able to, because a lot of those animals are moving further north. A lot of our fish are moving further north, and so we're starting to see a lot of species change throughout our communities. Where I live in further southeast, they even caught a turtle,
Wow.
right, in Alaska,
Yeah.
and a tuna.
And-
It's unheard of,
And that's
right?
because
So,
of like warming waters and
yep.
I'm guessing, yeah.
Last question. Like, what can we as youth or like youth groups, climate leaders do to like help your community be more represented or like just in general?
Yeah. What I would love and what would be a huge help right now, the Arctic is not a place that people often think about. It's usually an afterthought. It's not something that usually, unless you do your investigation, know about it. And we just need the world to wake up and realize that what's happening up there is not just going to impact the people who live up there. It's literally the cooler for the world.
Yeah.
And so as it melts up there, it's going to impact everybody's lives.
Yeah.
It's going to ensure that things like communities falling into the ocean take place. And so the world just needs to realize that the focus needs to be everywhere, but up north, especially right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.